So, bunch of classes to test out, and soon we'll be having the rogue in the alpha too. So, unless they expand the character slots to be like 6 or 7, I'm gonna have to cut one of these classes. I'm gonna have to delete one for when the rogue arrives. I need to find like a good place where there's like a training dummy because I want to sit down with the classes and test the combat. Mage is the class that I'm the most familiar with, so I'll just test out the mage at level 25. There's no training dummies. Okay. What's the combat in this game most comparable to? Definitely Guild Wars 2. 100%. I'd say it's like Guild Wars 2, but it has the potential to be much, much better. I'd say it's like Guild Wars 2, but it feels more grounded and less floaty. I personally prefer the animations in this game as well. And also, the problem I have with Guild Wars 2's combat, well, not really with the combat, but how it's designed, is in Guild Wars 2, your abilities are tied to your weapon. So from a class fantasy point of view, you might be stuck using weapons that you don't want to use in Guild Wars 2 because they have the best abilities on those weapons. And as much as I love Guild Wars 2's combat, I fucking hate having to use an ugly weapon, like a torch, for example, which you do on a few classes, when you just don't want to use that weapon. Because, like, if I was to play a warrior, for example, I want to use a two-handed greatsword. And in Guild Wars 2, if I remember correctly, that's not great for, like, PvE DPS. It's good for mobility, P, in some situations, for, like, utility, but I don't think it was a great DPS weapon, if I remember. So a lot of Guild Wars 2 builds had me using weapons that I didn't want to use. So for me, Ashes of Creation's combat is like Guild Wars 2, but with what I believe to be better animations, and it doesn't have the downsides of the abilities being tied to weapons. Let's just have action combat mode. You can press Z and go and target like this. So actually, let's follow up on that action combat question. Like, is this game action combat or tab targeting? Because it is a hybrid combat system. Let's just go over what abilities I would say are hybrid. I would say abilities where you place AoEs, those for me would be more considered on the action side of things, right? So we've got, on the mage, we've got Magma Field. We've got Cone of Cold, which is like a frontal conal ability. Doesn't require a target. Hoarfrost. You've got Blizzard. You can dodge with control. That's kind of action-y. You've got Ball Lightning. That doesn't require a target. Just shoots the ball forward. So that's action combat. You've got Prismatic Beam, which just shoots forward and hits whatever's in its way. And we've got Arcane Circle, you place it and buffs damage from whatever's standing in it. So it does have a lot of action abilities, but at its core, you do target things with tab for your auto attacks. So it is like 50-50. Obviously, some classes are going to feel more actiony than others, depending on the class. Also, with the combat, there's different elemental reactions. For example, if I freeze a target like I just did there, and then cast a lightning strike, it does like increase damage. There's like elemental, on the mage anyway, there's like elemental reaction system. Does this game cleave groups of enemies in melee combat like Guild Wars 2? Yes, it does, if you use a melee weapon. So if I was to have like a group of 4 enemies in front of me and I'm pressing my auto attack, it'll hit all of the enemies. Same for fighter. So that's also another reason why it's like actiony. Yeah, let's just keep fighting so I can get a feel for the combat. I've never done any PvP in this game before. As a cleric, you should be able to just sustain constantly. Big damage. Wow, so the dodges actually just completely mitigate damage in PvP. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. You can see your mitigation go up in your stats menu as you dodge. Oh, physical evasion just went to 100% as you dodged there. Let's try magical evasion. 100%. I thought they were more for mobility. I didn't think they actually just negate damage. So that is very actiony. Dodges and more Guild Wars 2. Like, yeah, Browley, you try and heal through all my damage. You just be my target dummy, okay? He's frozen. Big damage. Into beam. Surely he's dead. Uses his dodge, well played. When I'm attacking this guy, it feels fun. Like the combos and thinking about chaining you different elemental attacks. I want to make him dodge, but he's just gonna save his dodge for my burst, isn't he? Yeah, he saves it for the beam. He's smart. He knows that the beam's my biggest damage. So he saves the dodge for the beam. Right, so enchanted level 10 gear is better than level 20 base gear. Good to know. Oh, I can feel so much more damage. Frostbolt. Cone of Cold. Big damage. Oh my god, that damage. Fucked it up there. Beam. Oh. Just heals to full. What do you guys think about the PvP in Ashes and the combat? Those of you that are here with me right now. Times kills way too fast. Yeah, I've heard that a lot, but that's easily fixed, isn't it? That's just tweaking of the numbers. Yeah, that's an easy fix. Like fundamentally though, do you like the gameplay and the way the combat is? Do you like the fundamentals? If we assume that that everything else can just be balanced. Love the way the game's heading. Okay. Okay, Browley. Chat wants you to stand still and not move whilst I do my full combo on you. Your final test. The final tank test. Are you ready? I think I fucked up my combo there, to be honest. Oh, we got him. Sit down. The Cleric is strong. Like, it feels really fun to cast your abilities and do the damage. Like, it is really fast. The actual gameplay is very good. Like, if you look at where the combat is now and where it was in Alpha 1, like, it's a massive difference. Like, I know a lot of people are very down on Ashes because the game's taking longer than expected. But I would prefer that the game takes longer than expected and have a good foundational combat system, like really fun combat, than the game be rushed out and have fucking loads of content, but the content doesn't matter because the fundamental gameplay is dog shit. Who cares about content when the gameplay is trash? Because if they rushed the game out and had all of the features and stuff, but the gameplay was bad, no one would play it. It's like Throne and Liberty, right? I couldn't care less what content that game adds. They could add any content, and my desire to play the game would not change, because the reason I stopped playing it was the combat just wasn't good enough. That's ultimately the reason why I have so much patience for Ashes of Creation, because when the game is eventually finished, I think the gameplay and the combat will be good enough that I will be happy to just look forward to content, because just playing the game should be fun in terms of gameplay. Now, if Ashes of Creation had awful combat and I didn't like the combat direction, I would be completely, my tone towards this game would be completely different, because at this stage of development, you want the combat to be feeling good. If there was anything that you would want to be good, it would be the combat. The blink skill in Ashes of Creation feels better than the blink in Throne. The blink feels really good in this game. And I like that all of your abilities can be cancelled. For example, let me cast I'll cast my magma thing. Mid-cast, I can just cancel it with the dodge roll. So you can like fake abilities, it seems. Fake the ball lightning. Big damage. I see what you guys mean about the time to kill. It's pretty quick, isn't it? Oh, we got the win that time. Yeah, it's like giga lag. Oh, we both died at the same time. Okay. See, a tank with a bow. Yeah, in this game, you're not restricted to what weapons you use. So as a mage, I can use a greatsword if I want to. You can be a tank and use a bow as like a secondary weapon. You can equip 2 weapons, like a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. Every class can do that. But your weapon doesn't dictate your skills. It's not like Guild Wars 2 where changing your weapon changes your skills. Skills are class-based. So it's basically up to you. It's more of like it feels like more of a player choice kind of thing. Next class, we're going to learn the Ranger. I'm going to make my way over to the desert and we're going to test out the Ranger. As you can see, this is where I was trying to get some thumbnails yesterday. I've never played the Ranger in this game before. Like my first time trying it was dueling Steven and I was just pressing buttons. Haven't had a chance to read the abilities or do anything like that. So respec and drag everything off the bars. On the Ranger, I don't have great gear, so if I duel with anyone, I'm probably going to get wrecked. I've just got a full set of blue level 20 basic gear unenchanted, and I don't have any jewelry. What does scatter shot do? Concentrated scatter shot. It becomes a held ability. So if we take this, hold Q. Oh, that's cool. That feels good. Scatter shot has an additional charge. Let's take that. So we can pew. Pew. You can just release it at any time. It reminds me of shotgun from BDO. That's it. So let's try the normal disengage. I feel like the animation on that could be a bit smoother. Omnidirectional disengage. Yeah, that feels cool. How do you feel about the health chunks? I don't get the reasoning behind it. You know what? I didn't get the reasoning behind it until I started reading these abilities, and now I understand the reasoning behind it. Because this is quite interesting, that you can have abilities that deal a certain amount of damage based on like health percentage, and the health chunks are a very quick way to identify health percentage if you do it in chunks of 4. If they didn't have the health chunks, this ability would be quite hard to gauge. Like it's hard to tell when an opponent's below 50% if you don't have this. But with the chunks, you can see when this ability is going to be effective. Snipe seems like a pretty cool ability. So this locks me in place. It does a big charge up. That feels quite impactful. Fires a lightning-infused projectile at the target enemy, dealing 200% physical damage, applying 10 stacks of shocked. If the target is dazed, the effect is consumed and the target becomes silenced. Okay, so let's equip that. Then let's change my ammo type to concussion. Let's fire a barrage, and that should inflict daze, and then we pop thundering shot. And he's silenced. Okay. Vine field. I've never heard of this ability. So this turns the bleeding effect into hemorrhaging. So if I was to then change my ammo to bleeding ammo, pop a barrage, make him bleed, put him in a vine field, he's now hemorrhaging. So that's how you do like extra damage. I really like this design. Like that's really clever. So basically, to get the most out of different abilities on the Ranger, you need to switch your ammo to apply a certain condition on the target. Like if you have barbs, you can upgrade the bleeding to hemorrhaging. If you have dazed, you can upgrade that to silence. You apply it with the barrage and then you add the additional ability. So it's like a 3-step combo. Just chuck a trap. Yeah, pretty similar to a WoW hunter trap. You just need to have some brains playing Archer. I think you would just need to spend a bit of time in front of a target dummy, to be honest. That's how you learn most classes in MMOs. It's not a pretty process, learning classes. It's just sit there and practice. Airstrike's a really cool ability. I remember them showing this one off for the class showcase. So you've got 3 debuffs that you can put on the enemy. You've got 3 different ammo which you can apply to yourself. You've got 3 buffs that you can apply to yourself. And then you've just got your various abilities. Like Raining Death. Oh, that reminds me of an ability from Black Desert, the one where you shoot up arrows into the sky from really far away. Lightning Reload, okay. Yeah, then I can do the double snipe. Yeah, the Ranger feels nice. Camouflage, barrage into a thorns. Big damage. Bit of mobility. Pop a dodge. Dodge around. Yeah, it feels really cool. Like the way the abilities look. The only thing I think could use some work is the disengage. I just think the animation on that needs a bit of work. You're wearing the Bard set. Okay. Fuck's sake. I mean, no wonder I lost my duel to Steven. He's given me a set of fucking Bard armor. The cheeky bastard's rigged the duels against me, hasn't he? We're also level 1 in our skills, so I'm incredibly nerfed. Okay, take off some more gear. we'll duel naked. Shit. Good fight. So this, into this, into this, into this. This should be big damage. Into this. Early impressions on the Ranger. I quite like the design of it. I like the way the different abilities interact with each other. Would I play it over the Mage though, based on what I've seen? Probably not, because I really do like the Mage. But I like the direction they're going with the Ranger. I think for me, the difficulty of the Ranger would be remembering all of these like debuffs that you put on the target and remembering what ability to use to upgrade the damage from the debuff. And I feel like the animation on disengage could be a little bit more polished, a little bit more fluid. It's not at the same level of fluidity as the Mage's blink, for example. Feels a little bit janky, the disengage. I feel like airstrike is a really cool ability, but I feel like it's so slow and the distance of it isn't actually that far. That if I was to use this in a PvP scenario, I'm just going to get killed. Let's switch over to the fighter. Now, this is the one that I'm really excited to try out. Obviously, I'm not rating any of these classes based on their balancing, because balancing and numbers and stuff is all stuff that can be tweaked. When I play a class, I'm basically analyzing it from an ability standpoint and like how do the abilities interact with each other? How does it feel to play? Does it feel fluid? Are the animations good? Is it fun? Like numbers and balancing, all of that stuff, it's very temporary. It's just a tweak of numbers to fix it. Oh, my momentum is here on the class portrait. Interesting. I've never noticed that before. So lunging assault. Is that a gap closer? A little bit, yeah. Well, it's got to be hard to escape a fighter. Do this, do this. It actually moves you through the target. I wonder if it hits everything in an AoE. We can open with a leap. That's a cool ability. I like that one. This big hammer ability, that's cool. Cataclysm. We can like dodge through the target with this one. We can blitz back in. So it reminds me very much of like an arms warrior from World of Warcraft. We can spin to win. A blade storm. Feels pretty good. I like this lunging assault ability. It's on a really short cooldown, and you can use it as a gap closer whilst your charge and your leaps on cooldown. The mobility of the warrior seems insanely good. Obviously, I'm not doing a great deal of damage because I haven't got jewelry equipped. Take off this, take this. All right, so I should spin for longer now. All right, spin. Oh, wow, that's strong. That's got to be really good in like large scale PvP. Warriors probably like build up a bunch of combat momentum, and then I'd imagine they pop some cooldowns, they fucking jump into the back line, and then they pop the spin on like a large group of targets, maybe after a battle cry to weaken them. That would make sense to me. How's the game feeling so far? In terms of combat, really good. Like, I'm very impressed by the Mage combat. The Mage feels brilliant. The Ranger feels pretty good. There's just a few things that need cleaning up, and I like the warrior so far. I'm about to test dueling with the warrior. No, I'm not lagging too bad. This game feels really good to play in terms of ping. Connecting to Europe, I've got like 200 ms ping, but you don't feel it because the game doesn't have any input. It doesn't have any input lag. It's like I press an ability and it instantly goes off on my screen, even though I've got 200 ms ping. I don't know how they've managed to do that. It's similar to World of Warcraft in a way. Like WoW feels pretty good with high ping. Jumping in on the deep end here. It's always difficult to jump in on like a fully built class when you haven't leveled it up yourself. Okay, let's go. Now he's tripped. Spin to win. Holy. I'm not sure what happened there. Sit. So that breaks CC. I feel like the leap strike shouldn't lock you in animation for as long as it does. As much as I really like leap strike, I wish it was as fluid as heroic leap in WoW. It's like it locks you in animation for a split second too long at the end of it. The way you want to play the warrior, it seems to be you use Form of Ferocity, you use Overpower into this to hemorrhage, switch to this form, and then you want to use a Brutal Cleave into a Wallop, and that should trip. And then you can use Form of Fluidity with an Overpower to shake your target. Got it. So those are like the 3 applications of debuffs that you can apply. I can imagine the PvP in this game having quite the skill cap. It's a lot to think about. And this is only for the level 25 combat, and this is without the class combinations with all the additional abilities that you get from combining 2 different classes together. And that's not even considering the weapon attacks and stuff. Next, I'm going to go over to the Bard. I really like the Bard's abilities though. But I haven't really sat down and read them yet. But the Bard seems like a very well designed class. Like, the mobility is brilliant. Everything can be cast whilst moving. So you've got the melodies. I think you want to take all of these. Let's have the dances on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Shielding dance. So that can be cast whilst moving. Massive shield. Very cool. Maddening dance. Let's flag. This has put shaken on him. And on the final tick, he should have been humiliated. But it didn't work out that way. Nimble dance. Increased move speed, very nice. Mesmerizing dance. Incapacitated, okay. I really love the shielding dance ability. This just feels really nice. I love the spell effect animation on it. And maddening dance also feels really good as well. Okay, he's now humiliated, so he takes additional damage. Pop a discordance on him. Big damage. Sit. Marionette. And let's make Flanker dance against his will. And this can do... Oh, wow. And I can also attack him whilst doing that. Oh, so you've got two options here. You've got Anthem of Alacrity, AoE. You've got like a single target or an AoE version. The single target has more range. That's a 30-meter range. The AoE is a shorter range. Physical and magic attack speed increased by 25%, but the AoE version is only 10%. Same for Dark Lullaby. The single target has more range, more damage. The AoE version has shorter range, less damage, but it's AoE. Lovely Serenade. Oh, that's a channeled heal. That feels good. Let's test a Chilling Lament on someone. Movement speed reduced by 50%. That's pretty huge. This is basically your ultimate ability. You've got Saga here. I really think this is super clever design. Having like a multifunctional ultimate ability, which depends on the different sagas that you cast. I really like that. Okay, so now we can cast a Saga. The Myth of Creations. Saga. What did that do? That did an AoE demoralize. Choose a skill. Oh my god, there's so many different choices on the Bard. It seems like the Bard is the most fleshed out class that they've made. But there's so many options with the Bard. So with Flourish we can pop shield and then slide forward and slide the shield onto more allies. That Flourish ability feels fantastic to use. Absolutely love that. Yeah, this feels really good. It's like you've got your melody playing with the cast bar, then you have like an additional cast bar whenever you want to cast other stuff. Beautifully designed class. Right, so now we've got 3 chaos. I can do the 3 chaos saga, which is, let's flag. Big damage. Boom. A big fucking dragon fire ability. Very nice. Oh yeah, I really love the way this class feels to play. Like you can jump, and mid-jump you can do the slide thing as well. Okay, let's do a jump, dodge, slide, shielding dance all at the same time. So, whilst popping a melody. So melody, shielding dance, jump, dodge, fucking fucked up a little bit there. The freedom of movement on this class is mental. So pop this. Jump, dodge, slide. Yeah. And change directions as well. Yeah, it's just like the ultimate freedom of movement class. Then you've got this epic big damage ulti. Pop a nimble dance. Jump, dodge, slider. Pop a joy. Yeah, this is a fucking beautiful feeling class. Oh my god, I absolutely love it. And I've hardly scratched the surface with the abilities. Marionette. So you got like a long range CC. Bro's just locked down for 10 seconds. Every time you complete a dance or you get off the stage, your flourish cooldown resets. Oh my god. We're going to test the 3 yellow face ultimate. See what this looks like. Wait a sec. Saga. Oh, that's massive healing, I think. So that's like your super big heal if you get 3 yellow faces. Okay, let's try the flourish cooldown reset. So I pop shielding dance, maddening dance. Oh my god, I can just fucking perma slide every time I do a dance. Okay, let's try some duels with the Bard. Big damage. Pop him with the CC. Oh, I have no stamina. Did you just stamina drain me? Pop a lovely serenade on myself. We're gonna dodge. Pop a shielding dance on myself. Pop a maddening dance. Bro's humiliated. Let's dodge away. Oh, he's got me though. I've got to be doing something wrong. See if I can heal myself a little bit. Self heals. Lovely serenade. Big damage. CC him. Dark lullaby. Got a big gap on him there. Is he eating? was an epic duel. Good fight. That was a good duel. GG. That was fun. Honestly, I'm really tempted to play a bard in this game. It's going to be so hard to not play a bard for this game. I think if you're a shot caller as well, if you was to make a guild and be a shot caller, surely bard would be the class. Okay, we've had a little taste of the bard. I like what I'm seeing. Let's check out the cleric. How's the game looking so far? Gameplay is really good. I've tested 4 out of the 5 classes. I've got to 25 today. I really love the mage. I think mage is probably up there as either my top 1 or 2. Bard is unbelievably well designed. I like the fighter. I think maybe ranger is number 4 for me at the moment. We'll see where the cleric is. Looking at the skill tree, compared to bard, this looks really simple. First ability, smite. So that's going to be like a damage ability. Second ability, mend. Judgment. This is another one of those multi-function abilities. If cast on an ally, it's a big heal. If cast on an enemy, it's big damage. You've got a lot of instant heals as a cleric. Wow. Soothing glow. Yeah, heal over time. Flash cure. Man, oh my god, this is so many instant cast heals. So even with just a few skill points spent early on into the game, you've got fucking loads of healing. Loads of heals at like level, what would that be, like level 7? Deliverance, held ability, charges up healing energy that heals a target upon release, scaling in power the longer it's charged. Healer here is the best healer I've played in an MMO, wow. And this deliverance ability, you can use it whilst moving. And you can fucking do it over and over. There's no cooldown on it. Is that intended? You can flash cure during deliverance. Oh my god, you can as well. I love healing in MMOs. I find healing very relaxing, but a lot of MMOs get healing wrong. Like I love healing in WoW, for example. I love Resto Druid. Absolutely love it. Like all of these abilities seem to be like castable on the move. Resplendent Beam, that's your chain heal. I absolutely love that you can cast Flash Cure mid-cast. Like I'm casting Deliverance, and I'm pressing Flash Cure whilst I'm casting another ability. That's insane. Can you do that with Judgment? You can. It says here, this may be used during any other ability activations. What about a Judgment heal? Judgment heals are huge, right? 5,800. I might have to play a cleric. I'm not gonna lie, I might have to play a cleric. I didn't intend on playing a healer in this game, but I love how this is designed. We haven't even got to the second row of the talents. Abundant Soothing Glow. Soothing Glow has another charge, so that's 3 heals over time you can put up. 1, 2, 3. It's like a WoW's Priest combined with a Resto Druid. Defiant Light. Another heal over time. The amount of heal over time, so that's insane. It is literally a Resto Druid and a Priest from WoW all in one. Barrier. Hang on. Are we going to have Disc Priest thrown in there for good measure as well? Barrier. Sacrifice 25% of your health and apply temporary health to your target. So I've given him like a 1k shield. Yeah, so we're a Resto Druid, we're a Holy Priest, and we're a Disc Priest so far. What else are we going to slap in there? Wings of Salvation. That's cool. Chains of Restraint's final tick applies stunned. Stand together. Yeah, all 3 stunned. So that's going to be like, in large scale PvP, that's going to be such a massive ability. Like clerics with a well-placed stun will be able to like carry fights basically. If you can do a massive AoE stun like that without any other setup, I can imagine that in large scale you'll have like clerics like controlling the choke points, putting that down. So when people run through the choke points, they get like hard stunned. Okay, go on then, flanker. Try and kill me. I dare you. It's so fucking strong. Wee! Fucking hell, hang on. You got me there. The thing I struggle with World of Warcraft is like us choosing a main as well. And WoW has good combat. But with WoW, there's like 2 or 3 classes that I really typically like. Guild Wars 2 is another one. I struggle to pick a class. It's a nice problem to have really in a game. It's better for you to not know what class to play because there's so many that you like, rather than not being sure what to play because they're all kind of meh. Like in Throne of Liberty, like I really struggled to pick one class that I enjoyed in that game. And even then I fucking complain about the class that I picked all the time. I suppose as a bard you can just run around instant healing, right? Oh, it's got me with the CC. Let's try attacking back. Ability disabled. We got silenced for a second. Knocking me back. Teach me your burst. Wave. Judgment. Smite. Condemn. Okay. Stephen may have boosted my characters to level 25, but all of my characters that are boosted have like level 0 weapon skills, so I don't have weapon finishers, I don't have all of that stuff, so I think for Cleric, especially because you rely on a lot of weapon attacks, it's probably losing a lot of DPS, right? Game looks good right now. The combat flows very well. I tell you what, I'm really, really impressed with the combat. More so now, after this live stream, than I was before. The class design on some of these classes is really fucking impressive. In order of which ones I think are the most well designed, if we're talking about pure class design, probably the Bard. Maybe number 1 from a class design point of view. Mage number 2, Cleric number 3, Fighter number 4, Ranger number 5. I feel like I enjoyed Ranger the least. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy it. It's like I like all of the classes, but Ranger is the one that I enjoyed the least. I suppose one thing to consider is that in Ashes of Creation, like the full release, it's not intended that you just pick one of these classes. You're going to pick 2, right? So you will be Mage, Mage Cleric, Fighter Ranger. It's up to you. You basically choose like 2 of the classes and combine it, which determines your overall class. The combat in this game is actually just straight up better than I thought. And if we was to compare it to other MMOs, yes, Ashes of Creation's combat is very similar to Guild Wars 2, but I think it's better in a lot of ways. The animations feel more satisfying, for example. With Guild Wars 2's combat, as much as it's fun and it's responsive and it's smooth, I feel like the abilities and animations aren't super impactful. And I hate that abilities are tied to weapons, not your class. But with Ashes, your abilities are not tied to your weapons. So it's basically Guild Wars 2's combat without the downsides. It's Guild Wars 2's combat without the things that I dislike about Guild Wars 2's combat.